Hey, it's Wednesday, the best day of the week if you're a comic book fan, new comic book day. Today, I had an opportunity to go to my LCS Spivey Toys in beautiful Mishawaka, Indiana. And not only did I pick up my pulls, I picked up all my pulls. I got a chance to look around both my LCS, but just around the corner, like 2 blocks away, there's another local comic book store called The Warehouse, and I hit them up too. Let me share what I got. So I got 2 stacks of books in front of me on my desk. You can't see it right now. They're about the same size. One is my polls for this week. And honestly, I don't think it's an over the top week for me. It seems like pretty average. I think I got less than 10 books. But then on my left-hand side here, I have about a pile about the same size that are just back issues from this other local comic book store called The Warehouse Comics and Games. I've talked about them before. They have a wonderful selection of back issues, both vintage books from the 60s, usually though the 70s, and then more modern books in the copper and modern age, going from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, all the way up to the present day. And it's usually a pretty good place to hit up every few months and try to fill in some of the runs that I've been working on. And so that's what I did. But let me start with my pulls. So starting out, I have issue number 1 of a continuing, I suppose this is in addition to, or a continuing story this is Dark Knights of Steel, All Winter number 1. Tom Taylor wrote a story about a year and a half ago, in which it was set in a medieval period that looked recognizably like Europe. And all the characters that you would expect to see in the Justice League or Batman or Superman were set in this medieval time. Okay. So that was the theme. I don't want to spoil that. It highly recommended though. You can find that in trade. It is well worth the read. It was a lot of fun. So this is now falling underneath the Elseworlds logo or imprint, and you'll see that on the cover. I went with originally, honestly, this was supposed to be a cover by Francesco Mattina, but due to some recent artistic choices about a month ago, it appears he's not doing covers now for DC Comics, and I don't think he's doing it for Marvel either. Anyway, so this ended up being an alternate variant cover by an artist called Homere. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I could be wrong. It gives me vibes similar to a Art Germ or Derek Chu. In the comments, let me know what you think. So this is Dark Knights of Steel, All Winter, issue number 1. This is a mini. I think it's going to be 6 issues. Tom Taylor is on the writing credits with someone else named Christoph, who I don't recognize. So here we have the Humeri cover right here, and you can see down in the corner, it's kind of hard to make out. This is the Elseworlds imprint. Okay. Next up, I didn't realize this was a mini series that was going to be like back to back over a month. We have Annihilation 2099. This is the first appearance of Red Hulk 2099. This is issue number 3. I haven't read the other 2 issues. I'm way behind in my reading. But Silver Surfer, I think, shows up in this one or in issue number 4, which is the whole reason why I'm pulling this. So we got issue number 3 right there. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, issue 308. Larry Hama has been heating this book up since it's gone over to Skybound. And I think we have a new artist in this book. So I've just been pulling the A covers. This is a total nostalgia pull. It's been fun. This is the final issue of a limited series from Boom Studios, Man's Best, issue number 5. I have not read a single one of these, but I've only heard good things. And so this will be something I'm going to be binging on over the weekend, I know. This book I have been up to date. This is Grunbeck's Red Sonja, issue number 12. The cover is by, it's right on the tip of my tongue, Bjorn. Bjorn Beck. No, I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, this has been a fun read. Highly recommend this. And it seems like some of the things from the last volume are kind of pulling over into this one. We got a Ghost Machine book. If you've not been reading Ghost Machine, you definitely want to dip your toes into this. It's only for 3 of their titles right now. 3 of their titles. We got Geiger, Redcoat, and Rook Exodus. They're only a couple issues in. Redcoat, this is the variant cover right here by Brad Anderson. This is issue number 4. Rook Exodus, I think, is only on issue number 3 or 4. Same with Geiger. I think issue number 4 came out last week. Now for Geiger, it's volume number 2. And they have a new series. I've been seeing it push on Instagram. Drawing a blank on what it is. It's supposed to be a horror comic. Anyway, definitely recommend jumping on any of the Ghost Machine titles. They're all a lot of fun. Redcoat is kind of more of a historical fiction. Right now it's set right after the Revolutionary War. No, it's more than that. About 100 years after the Revolutionary War. I'm sorry, the main character fought in the Revolutionary War. Rook Exodus gives me vibes similar to like a Mad Max or a Borderlands, probably a better fit. In Geiger's more like a Mad Max-ish title. It's a post-apocalyptic dystopia. And they have a whole bunch of other titles that are going to be coming out later in the year. So definitely get in on Redcoat. It's a lot of fun, and comics should be fun to read. We have Star Wars issue number 48. This right here, Charles Soule, I think posted on, I keep bumping my microphone. I apologize about that. I think I saw it on IG. Might have been somewhere else. Marvel's going to end the Star Wars title with issue number 50. I mean, there's going to be other things in the comic book IP moving forward, but there isn't going to be a straight up Star Wars title because the Star Wars volumes, this is volume 1, 2, 3. I think this is volume 3. Is filling in the gaps between the original trilogy. So volume number 2 was between Star Wars and Jedi, and the volume number 3, Star Wars and Empire, and volume number 3 is between Empire and Jedi. And there'll be other stories they're telling after that. I imagine they're going to keep swinging for the fences with High Republic. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get a lot of these little stories similar to Star Wars Inquisitors, where it's not, what's the word? It's tangential. It's next to the Skywalker saga. Sorry, I lost my words there for a moment. But it's not deep in that lore. It's kind of dealing with some of the minutia around that, like Inquisitors is. I could see them do similar things with Ahsoka or Mandalorian, you know, taking those time periods and telling other stories, which honestly, I think this is where Lucasfilm and Disney really need to flex this IP. But that's the personal opinion. Love all the Star Wars stuff they've been coming up with. So Star Wars 48, got 2 more months on this one. This is another nostalgia buy. This is Thundercats. This is issue number 6. It's been a lot of fun. I caught up with this last week, earlier this week. I don't remember. It's been a busy week. This is the Prio cover, which I really think his covers on Thundercats is outside his normal style. I mean, you could tell it's a Prio cover, but it's not. I mean, you look at that. It's not the same. It's not the same as you would see on Red Sonja, or I think this is a Prio cover. No, it's not. It's a Tedesco cover. Or on Wonder Woman, I was thinking, because I think he did a Wonder Woman cover. So we got Wonder Woman issue number 11, Tom King on writings, and Pierre, don't know his first name, my apologies. on the art. This has been really fun. I have to say that DC, looking at the Trinity, has been turning out some amazing material lately. Batman under Zdarsky has been a lot of fun. Wonder Woman under Tom King has been a lot of fun. I was going to drop this title until I heard Tom King was picking up the writing credits on it. So the creative team on Wonder Woman is swinging for the fences on this. And this is issue number 11. So if you wanted to jump on board on this, you probably find the individual issues at an LCS or on eBay, but it might be better just to get the trade. Okay, because this would be, you wait about a month or two, there'd be 2 trades, you know, it would be easier on your wallet, but it's a really fun read. Okay. And then last but not least, this is issue number 5 of a miniseries. This is What If Aliens. There you go, right there. Sorry about the glare. Trying to dodge the glare. So I'm going to be honest with you. I thought this was going to be a one-shot and then ended up being a mini. I pre-ordered the one-shot or the first issue, and then I realized, oh, this is going to be a miniseries. So I've been pulling the whole thing since then. I have not been getting into any of the Aliens or Predator stories that Marvel's been telling because I feel my pull list is a little bloated as it is. And so I'm trying to be careful where I'm investing my limited resources. This has been a fun read, though. Paul Reiser played this guy right here, and his son are a part of the creative team. And I think Adam Goldberg is actually doing the writing. So the Risers are helping develop the story, and then Goldberg is doing the writing, I believe. Anyway, it's all about Carter Burke. This is kind of a nostalgia buy too. I remember when this movie came out in the late 80s. I was in middle school. And so that's why I'm picking it up, because I thought Carter Burke was such a sleaze. He was such a good bad guy. And Paul Reiser played him exceedingly well. So that's all my pulls. Let's put this just a moment. Okay, over there. I have limited desk space. Okay, and it's bothering me. My desk isn't square with the other stuff around it. I had to pull it out to do some stuff behind it. Anyway, so the first bit, one of my collecting goals, and this is kind of a low-key goal. I'm not going out of my way to fill it. Before the pandemic, I used to participate in some online auctions on Facebook, and this guy would have dollar auctions on Facebook in this particular Facebook group I belong to. And I noticed that there were titles no one was picking up, like almost whole runs. And so I looked at it, and there was some of them that I was interested in. One of them was Fantastic Four. And that was honestly due to the fact that first, I recognize Fantastic Four's foundation in the Marvel Universe and how it connected, especially with Silver Surfer, which is one of the few Marvel Silver Age characters that is dear to my heart. Excuse me. But second, I was kind of, I'll be honest, I was kind of specking, you know. I was reading the tea leaves, and I was seeing that Fantastic Four would have value at some point in the future, that it's this huge IP that Marvel could not ignore, just because at the time Sony had the rights to it. You know, eventually things would move back. That's what I was saying. So I started buying it up, and this is mostly, it was a lot of volume 1 and then volume 3. And so since that point, I've been looking at trying to fill out those volumes. And I kind of set kind of like a bar for myself. And the nice thing about Fantastic Four, you could go into the sub 200s, like between 100 and 200. And there are many key issues that have value or undervalued. That's a better way to put it, are undervalued. But I also wanted to get as close to the present day as I could. So for me, that's volume 1, 2, and 3. And then the other volumes, like in the modern age, Marvel really hasn't flexed long stories in Fantastic Four or other characters. This is not exclusive to Fantastic Four. So if you look at volume 4 and 5, it's a few dozen issues, if that. Let's see, volume 6 was the Dan Slott run. That was a little longer, but I was pulling that. And then volume 7 is Ryan North, and Ryan North is making a great Fantastic Four title. If you were not pulling Fantastic Four by Ryan North, highly recommend jumping in on that. It is an easy gateway into the first family of Marvel. You don't need to know a lot because the writer is going to help you understand who the character is. And I'd recommend starting with issue number 1 if you can, or just figure out when the new arc starts. Okay. Anyway, so one of the things I'm doing, I'm going back and I'm filling in some of those volumes after volume 3. I have maybe a few dozen issues in volume 3. Volume 3 was a really long run, especially near the end with Jonathan Hickman. But it started with Chris Claremont, okay, and Mark Waid. So you had 2 amazing writers early on. And then with volume 1, I'm trying to go from 200 to the end of the volume 1, which was like 338, I think. And so I'm trying to fill those in as I can, and then like kind of get sub 200 if when it turns up. Okay. So anyway, this is all volume 3 stuff. This is by Jim Lee, Brandon Cho, Scott Williams. This is after I believe they left Marvel, and I was watching, I think it was a documentary, or it could have been like a comic book history podcast. This was after they left Marvel, and Marvel was like subcontracting some of their titles. Fantastic Four was one of those. I thought Captain America was too, but I could be wrong. So anyway, we have issue number 3, and then issue number 5, and then issue number 8. Is that right? No, that's 6. Sorry. Issue number 6. And then issue number 8. And honestly, volume 2 are dollar bin books every day of the week. They seriously are. No one's going to remember this other than, for me, Jim Lee in his prime was doing Fantastic Four. Look at this cover right here. Look at Captain America. Look at the thing. Look at Thor. Let's see. Doctor Doom. Look at Doctor Doom on that. That is just a sick cover. Here we have all 4 of them. Doctor Doom in the background. And then I'm not sure what's going on with this one, but Johnny Storm up in the front. Oh, this is, what is it? The Inhumans. Johnny Storm up in the front. That's sick art. Okay. These are dollar books. So this was one of, these were all dollar bin books so far. And then there was some stuff, I looked through their other back issues, and that's where he can get a little pricey. And in my opinion, some of the books are overpriced, but I averaged them all out. Like if you average all of these out, they average to be about $2 a book, which is pretty reasonable for some of these. Though for the Fantastic Four, not so much, right? So I was okay with that. Let's see, we got Silver Surfer. This is an annual. This is, oh, it's not. Silver Surfer, issue 109. This is a part of the volume 3 run that I've been working on for like 2 or 3 years. It's down to like a dozen issues, and they're just all these late in the run issues that I think there wasn't a large print run, and so it's just hard to find them. They don't have a lot of value. Though, if Silver Surfer gets his own movie, which could happen, we'll see. Anyway, next up, we have Tomb Raider. This is the Top Cow volume. And so we got 2 issues. These are kind of early issues, so they weren't that expensive. So we got 11 and 12. And then we have some Uncanny X-Men. And this is all volume 1 stuff. And this was the stuff The Tomb Raiders were about $2 a piece, a little bit more. Uncanny was about $2 a piece too, but it was weird. Like he had some, and he prices all of his back issues. So the sticker price for these was $2.25. Okay, except the first one, which I don't know why the first one wasn't. Anyway, part of it is it looks like it's conditioned. And most of these look pretty clean. Okay, they haven't been read. But then he'd have some that were sticker price $2.25 that were in a bag, which is typically what he does. Like these Fantastic Four issues, they were in a bag, but they weren't boarded. So he recycles his boards, the person running the comic book side of this business. But then he had some of the books that were $2.25, same issue that had a bag and board. So I don't know what's going on. So what I did was I typically picked the ones that were bagged and board because I knew they would be in better condition, that they wouldn't have been like deflected as people were rifling through the bins. Anyway, this is working on my volume 1 run. I don't know how many issues. I think I have like 60 I still need. I have most of, let's see, I have all of the 300s, most of the 400s, a good chunk of the 500s, and then going backwards, I want to go from 200 up. 200 is just an arbitrary number. I have a good number from 2 to 300. It's sub 200 that's when it becomes a little bit more difficult to collect because some of those have a bigger price tag. And as we all know, since X-Men 97, X-Men books have been kind of, not a bad thing, but as a collector, makes it a little difficult. So here we go. This is X-Men 430. Nice Juggernaut cover. Yeah, that's Juggernaut. Near the end of volume 1, Colossus became, he got the bands of whatever the Juggernaut bands are. Okay. So this is Juggernaut. Cool Juggernaut cover. I'm not sure who did that one though. I wish they would put it somewhere. Anyway, here's another Juggernaut cover. This is 436. Trials of the Juggernaut. We have 440. This is an Angel cover. Who did? I need to take my eyes off for a minute. So I recognize the stamp, but for the life of me, I can't remember who the artist is. If you know who the artist is to this, just post it in comments for me, would you? We have issue 446, 447. And this is one I've been looking for. This is a Greg Land cover. This is the B cover, though it's not like in the corner barcode. It's not listed as the B cover. It's listed as the A cover, but the A cover was an Alex Ross variant according to CLZ. I wanted the Alex Ross variant, or the Alex Ross A cover, but beggars can't be choosers. So we got a Greg Land cover instead, and Greg Land is still a good artist. So there we go. This is issue number 500. Okay. There were a bunch of other books there he had, but as I was saying, like some of the pricing for these kind of mid-range modern books, I didn't feel was a good use of my dollar. I'm not trying to criticize the proprietor's pricing model. I've noticed this in his business that you have to be more particular. And I think when we're out hunting for comic books, that's important to do, especially when we have a limited budget, we have limited time, we need to make sure we're leveraging our resources so we get the biggest bang for our buck. All right, so there you have it. Those are my pulls for the week. Happy New Comic Book Day, and some extra books that I picked up at another LCS in the area. For those of you that stood through this entire video, listening to me ramble on, thank you. If you would do me a solid and hit the like button down below, hit the bell up in the corner so you receive notifications when I'm posting new content, which there'll be other videos coming out this week, I would appreciate it. And with that, this is James, Comic Book Shifu. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to read more comics.